thought we would talk about divorce. I got divorced, it was in 2002, and back then, you didn't leave the kids, because if you did, you were a loser of a mother. And at that time, I was severely depressed. I knew I was depressed, but I didn't know the extent of the depression, because I was on medication, but I'd never been diagnosed with bipolar depression, and I'd never been on any medications that had made me feel better. And if I was on something, because I've been on almost every drug that there's been out there made, pretty much, the problem was that I'd start taking an antidepressant, and then within, a few months of taking it, I'd start feeling better, and then all of a sudden I would just plummet into a deep depression again. It was like the medicine would quit working on me, and I didn't know that it was because my body was not very susceptible to antidepressants. And a lot of times, you'll have to take like Latuda, or you'll have to take like Abilify, or you'll have to take, like these added medications in order for the ones that you're on to work effectively. So anyway, I had 4 children, and my oldest at that time was 13, a 13-year-old girl, and then I had twin boys that were like 10, 9 and a half, 10 years old, and then I had my youngest one, and he was like 4 years old at the time. And my husband at the time, we had gone through a split up already, and then we decided to try to work it out again. So I went back. I had moved out, and I tried, I was just miserable. I was just a miserable sad sack. That's what I would call myself. I missed my kids. I loved being married. It's not that I didn't want to be married, it's just I didn't want to be married to him. And he was very condescending, and he's very intelligent, but he makes a person feel stupid. Or, I allowed him to make me feel stupid, I should say. He would correct my grammar, he would correct anything that I said or did wrong, and I don't even know if he knew he was doing it. I would always call him Mr. Professor, and that would piss him off. But anyway, at the time I had moved out and decided that we were going to try to make it work, and I moved back in, and it probably lasted maybe a year, and I kept telling him, you need to go and because I wasn't going to do it anymore. I was not going to take charge of the relationship anymore. And I told him that he needed to make an appointment with a counselor, and he didn't do it. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. And then when I said I was moving out again, and then that was that, then he made the appointment with the counselor. And I remember going to the counselor and sitting there and just knowing, I already knew that it was over. You get to the point in divorce where you're just done. You're not going to work on it anymore. And he was trying to make me feel like I wanted to stay, or make me feel guilty to stay. And I just knew that I was done. And the last time that we ended up going to the counselor, I pretty much said, you know, you pull this fucking car over and I'm getting out. And he's like, no, you're going to the counselor. I'm like, you're not making me do anything. You know, I'm done. So we decided that we were going to get divorced and we were going to split and be happy and, you know, work as co-parents, and that worked for a while, I guess, but I decided that it was probably in the best interest of the kids, being my state of mind, that they would stay in their childhood home, in their childhood town, in their school, with their friends. And I didn't want to drag them out of, you know, their school, because I was going to have to move. Where we lived, my husband had grown up there, and his family was all from there. Everybody knew everybody. I was an outsider, and, you know, heavens forbid that I get divorced, you know, from him, because they treat you like dog shit. But it was just not a good situation. So I ended up moving in with a girlfriend, not like a lesbian lover, but not that I care. And I didn't have nothing. I left everything. The only thing that I took with me were pretty much the clothes on my back, and that's it. And to this day, I remember my husband saying, are you sure you want to leave the kids with me? And I said, I know I'll regret it. I'll regret it in the long run. And I did. I regretted it. But it's not like he wasn't a good father, because he pretty much was a good dad. It's just, he's a hard person to love. And, you know, even my kids talk about it, you know, how hard of a person he is he's just very awkward. He's socially awkward, I think. And it was just really hard. Back then, in 2003, a mother did not leave her children. If she did, it was due to drugs or alcohol, or she was an alcoholic, or, you know, just a total freaking loser. And I didn't feel that I was a total freaking loser. I mean, yeah, I did. But, you know, as my family always said, you know, you did what you had to do. You know, you made sure, and you didn't leave the kids, because I was with them. And, you know, I tried to get them every weekend, and if I couldn't, I'd get them every other weekend. And basically, I had like switched and did the male role, you know, where you pay child support, and, you know, you get the kids on every other weekend and stuff, which it just about broke my heart. And to this day, it still does break my heart. I mean, it's been, what, my oldest is going to be 19, so what, 15 years ago? And it still breaks my heart to think that, you know, I missed out on every day raising him, you know, especially the baby, when he was only 4 years old, you know. And it was just a hard situation, and I know how hard it is for divorce and divorced kids, and it's just a sad situation. But anyway, to make a long story short, you know, all my kids turned out pretty darn good, I would think. You know, we've had a few bumps in the roads, and maybe down in later vlogs I'll explain some of those bumps. But, you know, I just don't want anybody to feel like just because they're divorced, or, you know, maybe they don't have their kids and they're female, that they should feel any less, you know, or make yourself feel bad about it, because it's what you have to do, you know, to survive, and what you want them to do. I wanted my kids to grow up healthy and happy, And I felt that that was the best way, because I was a hairdresser and didn't make very much money, and I didn't have health insurance, and you know, my husband at that time made a lot of money, you know. He just, you know, he was just more stable than I was at that time. But, you know, you do what you do, and you live day by day, I guess. And I always ask my kids, you know, was I a good mom? You know, and they're always like, yeah, you're a good mom. And I always think, yeah, they're bullshitting me, you know. But maybe I was a good mom, and, you know, did what I could just to make it so it wasn't so terrible of a transition, you know. I am getting ready to go to work. So if you like this rambling on blog or vlog, give me a thumbs up, and if you can, subscribe, and I'll try to keep coming back with some really interesting stuff. I mean, it will be gut-wrenching. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.